Welcome everyone to another Linux open source development live stream here on our channel. Continuing where we have left off yesterday with testing OpenPower, but independently of that, discovering some installer marginalities, as I would say bugs maybe. And so the issue is multiple LVM, for example, right? So it's like what you didn't test is broken, obviously, or at least not behaving the way you thought. The issue is our installer offers to create some RAID types and so on. And it turned out, like when we just have chosen Stripe, then it only used one device. You can actually double check that here. I run this now in QEMU. Also, we can exterm that for a little bit better. So let's just wipe this here. This doesn't, or actually what we have here. Yeah, we need to delete this now first. Can we remove all this at once? We could. Yeah, doesn't matter. It's for Q. So wait a second. What have I done here? I've done some nonsense. Media, that is fine. Create physical LVM volume. And so as we've seen yesterday, this when we select Stripe now, this will only somehow Stripe on one, but with PVS free. Yes, this is all free. And if we now say create, so linear is linearly allocating, right? So that doesn't, so basically it's mostly Stripe, which I've sometimes used, especially for testing. I slightly wonder, I mean, for me, I thought Striped quite equals RAID 0, right? But probably, they even have RAID 0, right? Maybe we should add this additionally just if someone RAID 0, yeah, they have the RAID 0. So maybe we should actually add that. The crazy thing is, they even had, so they must have changed this behavior. If I read the info and men page, like last person all of YouTube reading freaking men and info pages, like other people just ask Google, ChatGPT and Stack Overflow. But here's a Stripe number. Turns out it's not only, I thought like, hey, it's the number like the default should be, and that's also the thing, right? In my opinion, really bad design decisions, not only in Unix but especially Linux's modern tools. LVM is one of those modern tools, well, modern, only 15-year-old. So somehow, yes, it is a complex topic and it has hundreds, if not thousands, options and arguments. But somehow I find those modern Unix tools at times a little bit annoying to work with, a little bit error prone and hard to, I mean, even the command line arguments are at times really strangely named and so on. But in my opinion, I mean, the default here is relative. I mean, right, wait, so this is the maximum. What is even the default? The default is, or is the default not all this? So I even checked the source code, right? So it turns out there is an option, and that is the crazy thing, right? There is a crazy option that is allocation /RAID Stripe all devices, and that's only doing that for RAID, right? So what, in my opinion, also it sounds like they changed this. All. Yeah, so if requested the previous behavior, right, written in the source code, true professionals. How do you recognize true professionals? They actually read the freaking source code. So that is a amazing C source code of LM2 user space tools. And so if requested the previous behavior, so it was saner, like 2023. Also, I mean, not only it was sane, and not only they changed it, causing incompatibility between scripts and administrators and stuff. They even changed it, right? And I mean, nobody's changing this in etc LVM conf, right? you can override this. So we could, there is RAID stripe all devices. We could run LV create. So what is the solution? One solution would be run this with, I mean, yes, of course. I mean, not like this L for free. It's like if this is what I mean, right? In my opinion, a little bit strange. I don't know who came up with this cryptic. I mean, it's like a competition of LVM and Git who wants the most cryptic command line interface. Because I don't know, somehow this should be size, and it's like maybe if you write 100% it should, I don't know, it's a little strange. But it's like, of course you run with --config allocation / RAID stripe all devices equals 1, right? It's like, of course you run it like that. There are probably super amazing reasons, and there probably were flame wars and hundreds of emails. I'm not Googling that discussion now for whatever reason. So what is the new default? Let's see. I mean, so the problem is I would not have a problem to change our installer to run LV create with config allocation RAID stripe. I mean, because if you have a set of RAID devices, like 95 or 90% of all users, administrators and stuff probably nearly always want to LV create over all the devices. I mean, unless they have one additional caching device or whatnot. But then they anyway need to be careful, right? Like if you have one NVMe caching device of stuff of your 8 or 16 or whatever of your rotational magnetic storage, you anyway need to manually specify all your physical devices, right? To instruct LVM to where to allocate that. So it's like, yeah. I slightly wonder, so what is that's not a really solution. So probably after all script that, like the solution is now, like every installer, sure, if you have a graphical installer and you click around there, then probably you can click around there in IBM's, Oracle's, broken Enterprise Linux or so. It's not really a solution for me though, because the major thing was with stripes, right? So for stripes, this code is not run. So this is in _check RAID parameters, and so check RAID parameters. That is only run if segment or whatever segment is. Do they call the segment? What is this even seg? Yeah, segment. Okay, they call the segment. RAID parameters. Yeah. So all types reserved at this point. Now only validation steps. Segment is RAID, LP, and not check. So they run this only. Wait, what is seg is RAID? Where do they? Seg is. But I would guess it's not including stripes. Where is this defined? Segment is RAID. Okay, there is okay. There have that there. What do we have RAID now? So that is metadata. Is RAID. Is any RAID 0? So that is. Where do they have the any RAID 5? Segment is RAID with meta. Seg type is RAID. Okay, that is. So they have additional flags. Apparently, they have there some bit mask of RAID and stuff additionally. So additional to RAID. Okay, here's a bit mask. Also, like I really hate this, right? Like, why is this not in enum? I really hate this kind of. I mean, yes, maybe because enums can be in reverse order and implementation defined and stuff, and this is maybe on disk format and stuff. But C and their glorified language and macro preprocessor stuff, like this is. Because the problem is you can all use this all over, right? Instead of having some type safety, but yeah, C programs what is statically typing, except we don't have C statically typing with everything is an int. Amazing. So yeah, there is segment RAID. There is stripe. Do they have? Okay, they don't have that there. I mean, I would need to set the breakpoint then or whether to find out stripe. I mean, we could test that empirically if we run that with, because the problem is if we run this now like this, it's 100% free. It's like 4 GB or so. Then, so this is only allocated, I mean, why did it only, maybe it doesn't even allocate this, okay, so they have an allocation strategy, so they don't, the allocation strategy does not appear to be first in, first out. Their allocation strategy might be something like most free space first or something. Which ultimate question there, which Linux distribution use? We use T2, our own 25 years in the making, one of the best rolling release source distributions, supporting cross-compilation and everything from ARM to RISC, namely 32 currently supported build configurations with Clang, Musel, glibc, and cross-compiling every insane CPU architecture out there. So yeah, that is really yeah. I don't know why. I mean, yeah, I don't know why I specify stripe and I don't get stripes. Then it's amazing. Design by committee user. Yeah. The thing is, people always think usability and UI design is only for graphical. No, there's also text UI, right? Text, and you can even apply use UI, like text UI and usability design to command line arguments, right? In my opinion, this is really not stellar. Sec. So all devices. So I only. By the way, working on this, I found something new. But that you also. So I hope you learned something that you can also like. Command line tools do not need to suck. They can also be like if you apply some common sense and design and usability research and stuff, which obviously the open source community has no money for, because Mozilla and the Linux Foundation spent it all for other things. I learned something new. Even I learned. So I do C for 25 years, and I thought I know every corner and shortcoming. But today, like, why do I know so much? Because for 25 years I do this, right? I realized, I mean, just like, wait a second. So this is a GNU extension, right? I even had to Google that. Didn't even find it quickly. I'm like only on Wikipedia here. So this ternary question mark conditional operator, ZSC, of course, I knew that and also use it often, but I didn't realize that that's a GNU extension, because I was like wondering, wait a second, what's happening here? Is this like, I mean, it does what I thought it does, namely, like here's the first argument expression, and then second and third, like whether that's true, second or the third. And yeah, GNU extension, you can omit the second operand. And so I learned something new, but like, of course it's a GNU extension, and after decades still not in the C20 whatever X standards. You learned something, I hope. Apparently this compiles with Clang too, because obviously they need to implement most GNU extensions. Let's take one closer look here. So yeah, that's how you learn every corner and detail of the C language. So old stripes. So by the way, so this is rate parameters. What is their default? So if if we requested the previous behavior by setting, and the number of devices was not supplied, we can infer from the. So this is old stripes. Okay, so old stripes is arg. Okay, old stripes. Also, it's. Did I just say statistical typing, right? Glorified portable assembler macro preprocessor. It's like, yeah, of course, you use a 32-bit integer to represent a Boolean. Statical typing when most things are in int. So argument is not set. Argument stripes arg and find config tree bool. Hey, there it's a bool. An integer bool allocation. Allocation right stripe, all devices. So then that. So if not, so what is, do they set this? So if old stripes argument segment is RAID and is not RAID 1, then set stripes to devs, which I thought would be the intuitive thing. I would even argue it should be for RAID 5. It should be, I believe it doesn't include the checksum parity device, right? Or spare. Or is it? Oh, wait a second. An extra, what did it? Ah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, 500 times the same. Yes, we know it already. Oops, yeah. Determines allocation policy when, oh wait, this is there can you determine the allocation policy, which I just said. What is the default? Anywhere uses reduced performance, something. Yeah. Where is the freaking stripes arguments that I just searched over? Number of stripes, where do they have the largest number? This is the largest number. That's spread across data. When creating, the number does not include the extra. So yeah, when creating RAID 4, 5, 6, this number does not include the extra device that are required. This doesn't tell me much, to be honest. Where's my own RAID 5 example? RAID 5? Do I have here a RAID 5 example with 2 disks? No, I'm confused. Yeah, so it turns out you need to be very careful with where it's allocated if you have non-symmetric device configured. So this is so confusing. This DA. Ah, wait. Ah, no, I was confused by my. I have 3 devices. What are we? I was somehow thinking the last device is okay. I don't regret this. So yeah, RAID 5. So yeah, stripes 2 with parity. I mean, this is reoccurring. This drives me so nuts, right? Tools. I don't know. Leave me in the comments below. Now I have a call. Talk to you later. Cool. Someone spam wrote call selling me printer supplies. We don't print anymore. Have a good day. So yeah, this, in my opinion, nah, I don't know, leave in the comments below how. I mean, you can always argue it makes sense because it's yeah. So I don't believe this fixes that. Let's all devices. But to summarize this also, like years later, Linux people still, like, although you have done it again and again, years later, people like intuitively run commands and get unexpected results, right? Question, is it hard to move from Ubuntu to T2? If you are not yet a Linux professional, maybe. It's a little bit of a, it's an enterprise and embedded Linux distribution with enthusiast users on PS3, Octane, and Vintage and Retro. So, I mean, it's not that difficult. I would, you know what, I would call it a testing your Linux food challenge to challenge accepted test. Comment below. Load your personal Linux challenge today. Try to install it and get used and like test how good are your Linux skills by installing this. increasingly popular Linux distribution. So LV remove, VG0, LV0. What? Alright, how did I call this? I'll probably test. Create type striped config. I have this stupid serial console breakage in there. Name test size was it? Size was -L, right? I guess 2 or 8 gigs or whatever. Yeah, as expected, that didn't change a thing. So yeah, that's not marked as right. So then let's tackle that. So it's like as usual, if you want. Now first, yeah, pro tip: first get the overview of what is the state of affairs, and so means we need to manually count this, which is obviously annoying. Volume groups. Wait, do I have only one device on that? No. Why does it say only VDB3? This wasn't on there. So let's try that again. Not really sure what happened there. But this also doesn't. Why does this not display devices now? Yeah, but it still doesn't allocate there. Yeah, it doesn't even say something about stripe size, right? Without, you just say stripe and then you get... I mean, for me, this is misleading. I mean, because it's behaving like if you don't specify explicitly stripe, then you get basically, like you say type striped and then you get linear allocated. To me, this is just silly. Yeah, no, it's allocated from both. I don't know, for me this... And that is the thing, right? This LVM2, this tool is so complex. It can do everything in the kitchen sink, except some trivial things. It's like how can such, like, yeah, they over-engineered it in every possible way, and the basic, most simple use cases, they behave unintuitive. Is the best I can describe that. Okay, that displays, so what is this? Okay, now it displays those. Maybe, no, this is, no, whatever. Okay, now it doesn't display anything because we don't have any, I mean, yeah, no, I do need to do some Googling. Okay, so what we will do then is actually add rate here. at rate 0. I thought with stripes you don't need this, but then fine, you get it too. It's probably behaving also probably the rebuild and stuff. Oh wait, you can't rebuild that. Yeah, probably anyway, extending and maybe converting. Maybe you can potentially upconvert, right? 0 to 10 or whatever, things like that. And so that, and then so unfortunately, do we have, what is even the default for, what is a little bit annoying, this editing is a little bit annoying if we set, but that probably doesn't change much, or does it? No, it doesn't. Why? I always wondered why is this editing through this serial console always so annoying. Because it truly not only doesn't look good, oh, come on. Maybe because these columns are out of sync. Would it be? Maybe I should boot. Would it help actually? No, probably it would also not help if we boot with some virt.io. Maybe I should check virt.io console. Maybe that behaves better. Because that truly gets on my nerves. I mean, I can do a lot of shit, but that is. So what happens if we... Ah, wait, we have... Yeah, I'm really... I read distorted terminals for 25 years. You probably get crazy, but... I wonder, maybe it's only the columns being out of sync because the serial console doesn't know. I mean, that creates it over, I don't know, what is the default then? That's the main page. Say what is, but it doesn't even really matter what the default is. Because we can't use it. Because it makes no sense to script something when depending on the type we use the default or not. I mean, if we count the physical volumes, specify the number, verse it does not change. Okay. Only applies being allocated by the command when creating. The number does not include the extra divisor required for parity. The largest number depends on the rate type. Okay, so the default for rate 0 is 2. Rate 10 to rate 3 or 4, 3. Rate 6, 5. So basically they changed the default. I mean, maybe this change of default, so maybe they changed it mostly for the rate types, which makes sort of sense, but regressed, in my opinion, that if you build a simple striped volume, that default appears to be 0 instead of being over all devices. So RAID 0, 2, RAID, I mean they don't even specify here RAID 1, right? So what is the default for RAID 1? Depends. Actually, maybe, do we find this in the source code? So they send... No, they don't set it here, they divide it by the mirrors. Mirrors defaults to 2, not minus, not the number of... Mirrors defaults to 2? Not the number of PV supplied. Arc is set, find config, old stripes. So this is only old stripes. So the question is, where do they initialize this? Maybe I should use some fancy code tool, because it does not necessarily appear to be in here. Or is it uninitialized? I mean, this is a local struct. Yeah, I will probably, so basically that is the issue. I mean, yeah, 2023 you read LVM2 source code to figure out what the heck is even going on here. By the way, here they have LV create params. Continuous, sec type, strings. So here they have target attribute. Yes, arc count? What the heck is yes? Ignore type. Type is the topmost. Okay, so here they segment type. So where do they have? Here's striped if not string compare linear. Segment type. Segment seg type string value. What do they do here? If segment type value. Yeah, in my opinion, that is a problem why I prefer to write user space or other such logic tools not in C. This is really tricky, right? That is also the problem that even low, like not performance critical user space C code is written in hacky ways. Here they assign this segment type, string pointer, here const character, seg type of string. And so they assign this and evaluate this. So, I mean, I can read that, but all the stuff is, of course, really error prone. You always need to double check. Is it comparison, assignment? In my opinion, a little bit near to read. So type equals 1. So segment type, so arc string value type arc. So if any type is specified, they set type to 1. And then string compare, this is also hard to read. So this is a successful compare, right? Inverted C logic of returning the first difference and 0 if it's equal. So it's always like if not string compare, although it's true, right? It's like the future is now. Return value, function returns an integer less than equal to, also like man pages, right? Raise your hand if you understand, if you quickly read this. Returns an integer less than equal to or greater than 0 if S1 or the first n bytes thereof is found, respectively to be less than to match or be greater than S2. It's obvious, right? Yeah. So segment type, if not linear, so yeah, because if linear, so is linear, it looks to me that, you know what, they overwrite this. Wow, is that hacky? Wow, is that crazy? I didn't even realize before the live stream, but it looks to me, so like, yeah, see in 2023, it looks to me, not that, but it probably is what it is. So it appears to be that they reset the segment type, right? So if you supply linear, so like basically, if you run striped without argument, you basically get linear because it's just like due. Is that stupid? So they basically, they misuse the striped use case with a segment size of 1. This is why we get this strange behavior. It's like, yeah, I regularly hit the jackpot with bugs, right? My simple striped behavior is exactly their corner case of YOLOing that here. Do they, by the way, mem set this? Like, we create. We create params. We so yes, we create. So where do they? Okay, they initialize it. Okay. Oh wait, no, this is not what they. Oh no, they initialize that. So that is a little bit tricky. I believe if my C standard knowledge is, if I recall correctly, this initializes everything to 0. It's like if you initialize something like that, then like the explicit, like everything not explicitly initialized should be 0, which is not the worst thing to do. So yeah, this is why stripes create, we create params. Oops. And stripes where do they set that? Create name params, get stripe params. Yeah, somehow I often find Unix and C tools written in C always a little bit convoluted to follow. Like here they initialize 1/2 and okay, what have we learned? We have learned they have some only linear use case. Cannot use stripes with only linear and stripes. So they, okay, that is the only cycling. So this variable they only use, it's a local variable. They only use it for error checking of specifying stripes. And where do they? Oh, maybe here somewhere. Is that in LV create? Yeah, it's in LV create params. LP stripes. So it doesn't get stripe. Get stripe params. Okay, it's somewhere else. Get. Stripe size is limited by the size of UN32, but since the value given the user is doubled and the final result must be power of 2, we must divide UN. What? Okay, arc is set. No. Arc is set. Stripes equals that. Arc is that. stripes long arch? What? Stripes long takes precedence? What is arc stripes long? Okay, so we have here, okay, here they set the default types. Found it. So if rate, so fix me the sec type parameter for min stripes and remove logic for this from all other places. Add sec type parameters for min stripes and remove logic for this from all other places. So what they mean is like, yeah, 2023, the stuff has still fixed me. They probably mean removing this assignment from the other function where we have been in there a minute ago. Move it here. So yeah, so the default is apparently always 1. So that is what, like, unless for rate and yeah. And this stripes supplied is for determining other code passes that it was the option was explicitly set. So okay, we finally found it. That's why I didn't find it instantly in the other file, because I have this tools library here. So what this means for us. Is that I need to, so linear will have what I mean, maybe I only change the default. I mean, it's crazy that I mostly test with the one use case that is strange. Congratulations. We're currently achievement unlocked. So for me, I will just manually override stripes probably and leave the defaults. Yeah, linear is linear. That is one. The rate types, yeah. I mean, what do you as a user expect? You add 3 or 4 devices to your LVM. Let's say you have a handful of devices. You rate 0. That what to expect? But wait, rate 0. So what is the default? The default was the default 1 or 2? No, what is striped? What means striped rate? Oh no, then it's 2. I guess striped rate was probably all the other. Sec is striped rate. Oh wait, is rate and not is rate 1. Getting a little bit complex with all the exceptions. Rate 1, they said, is mirrored. So does it mean for mirrored? What is the default for mirrored? The default for mirrored is 1? Rate 0 to. I mean, that is the thing even, but okay, if you. No, but okay, rate 0 is striped. No, actually. No, the more I think about this makes no sense. Like if you have 3 or 4 devices and you want, like if you have 3 or 4 devices and you say rate 0, you want it striped over all devices, in my opinion. And the tragedy is even using this old, like, leave me in the comments below, but the more each time I think about this, the problem is people always then flame war on the mailing list that people are stupid and should read the fucking manual. I read the manual, and of course you could always agree this looks like sane defaults, right? But not only did they change it in the past, but each time I think about this, you have 4 devices, you say write 0 or write 1, what do you expect? Like if you have 4 devices here and you say write 1, you want this mirrored on all drives, right? If you, like let's say it's very important information or what, like it's a bank or whatever. I mean, I would not necessarily do that, but in my opinion, like if you have 3 or 4 devices and you say, you configure 4 devices and you say rate 0, 1 or 5 or striped, the behavior should be the same and it should span over all devices or not, I would say. Yeah, so the crazy thing is, if we implement this logic, I need to subtract this for RAID 5, right? Because I guess that doesn't... This is -1, not including the parity, so... I know what, let's go fancy. Yeah, with such stuff. But if I didn't had... I mean, I think I noticed the striping behavior some time ago. But then I also at times forget about it again, and each time I do it again, I'm surprised again. Kinda, sorta. Anyway, we still need to... Where do we have... What did I even do here? Ah, wait, I did this. Alles fine. We create, so how many we have? 4. What happens if we say not much? What is with overwriting now? Hello? Discard support, discard safety, due to discard 0. Yeah, as expected it has chosen 3. Why has it not? Maybe 1 is because I formatted GPT, maybe it's some size, but it's smaller, whatever. Yeah, I mean, this is, in my opinion, not really the expected behavior, right? Leave in the comments below if you find this expected behavior. I don't really find this expected behavior. That you need to manually, like, I have 4 devices, so 4 will not work. Or does it? Wait, this probably... Okay, this error message is a little bit annoying. Insufficient suitable allocation extends for logical volumes. It's just printing the extents for one segment. In my opinion, this error message, like 15 years later, right? In my opinion, the error messages should be not enough physical devices, not enough physical volumes. because now people would think they don't have enough space when all they don't have enough physical volumes, which is exactly what I wanted to test here, that we need to reduce this by one. Yeah. It is a little bit unsatisfying, to be honest. Yeah, I go do some scripting now, because the problem is I don't want to bore you for this live stream is already too long. Like basically getting a summary of what is even going on here. Yeah, to summarize, this is my opinion. It is a little bit unexpected behavior, unintuitive and error prone, and except most people probably don't use a command line tools and use some graphical distribution tool. It's irritating to see that after so many years it's somehow so strange. Basically, you learn that there's a GNU extension for Ternary conditional operators, and that even modern Linux command line C code is not the most amazing. And defaults are, I don't know. Of course, I also argue, like 15 years later, I argue about the defaults as many people for sure argued before, as this has changed in the past. But of course, I do nothing else than other people, like for sure they have argued, probably hundreds, dozens or hundreds of people argued about this in the past. Of course, I do nothing else than talking about this dead horse here again. But somehow it's just dissatisfying and really irritating the way it is. So yeah, I will figure out, we have here already some quirky code, how to extract the number of PVs. Because somehow, I mean, okay, we could, I mean, here is 4, we could just take this number. Yeah, whatever the... Anyway, I have some research to do, some scripting. Some of this command line stuff now. See you. So yeah, there will be one more spin. I was thinking last night, should I spin a new ISO? I will probably spin a new ISO. And the other thing, actually, I will also slightly quirk. Actually, theoretically, we could commit that here. What's it, array at 0, right? Oh, what is wrong with me on my typing? And yeah, given we delayed the 6 months, I didn't announce that I will slightly rebuild the ISOs, and I hope I didn't update that. Can I? Yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon for the next fun and discoveries and everything else to come.